Hey, good afternoon. Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is, you know what today is. Today is Tuesday. It's actually Tuesday, April 8th. So you know it's time for On Air with Russell of Hotels. You know that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. So I just want to make sure I'm going old school today, just in case you hadn't figured this out, because I've been having some issues, and I hope I'm not having issues now where my sound has been a little off and all this kind of stuff. So I said, you know what? Let me go old school and listen to myself talk, okay? Because, that's how I did it back in the day, right? So I'm live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn, okay? The people that are on YouTube, if you subscribe to my channel, you get a notification. You don't have to guess that I'm on. You just get a notification. It goes bing, like, oh my God, Russell's going live. So if you are on YouTube, you can actually make comments in real time, and I'll put those up on the screen. So feel free to do that. The people on LinkedIn, it's not me, but you can make comments, and I'll go back and look at the comments and address the comments or whatever, answer the questions or whatever the heck may be. But I just can't put them on the screen in real time. That's the only thing. Okay. So sorry about that, but hopefully one day LinkedIn and the platform that I use, maybe they'll get together and make it work for everybody. Right. So hopefully that's the case. So anyway, this is the monologue section of the show. So we'll get into the show in a minute. Like I said, today is, Tuesday. I have the 8th. I don't know why I have the 7th on here. It's actually Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm just making some changes here on the fly while I'm here. Every time I do a show like this, On Air with Russell of Hotels, or that daily check-in, which I do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm always showcasing a hotel, right? So last week, I had an opportunity to go and check out and hang out and have breakfast, and you may have heard this already, at the Sunset Marquis in West Hollywood, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite hotels in West Hollywood, So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It just has this kind of music-y kind of feel, vibe to it, like rock and roll kind of stuff. So I'll get into it in a little while. I'll give you some specifics of the hotel, but great hotel in the middle of, in the middle of the hustle and bustle of LA, although it's in West Hollywood, but it's adjacent to Los Angeles, and you would not know that you were not in Los Angeles. Okay. You would think you were somewhere else. You're like, oh my God, because once you get to this property, there's so many trees and foliage and nature and all this kind of stuff. And, you would think that you've been transported somewhere else. Okay. Because it's a totally different kind of vibe. But anyway, I thought I'd just say that. I didn't have anything else to say. But anyway, like I said, this is the monologue part. So I'll get into the show in a minute. We'll start with the intro. I'm going to try this other intro as well, see if that works as well. So everything that I'm doing, I'm listening. It's kind of I went back to square one, okay, if that makes any sense at all. I went back to square one because there's some inconsistencies in sound, in picture, video, all that stuff, right? So I need to go back and see. That's why I have the headset on today, because the headset allows me to hear like any outside interference or any kind of sounds, or if I hit the wrong button. I would know that anyway because I can hear it, but I think you get what I'm talking about. I'm not sure, but anyway, we're going to get this show, we can get this party started. And the show, it ain't going to, I've been kind of narrowing things down. I don't, normally it would go like an hour. Well, just so you know, I have an hour to talk, okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean I will go an hour, because I kind of, took some things out and kind of streamlined some things and all that. So, but anyway, let's get this party started. So I'll put you guys on hold for a second, and then we're going to do the intro, and we're going to come back with the show. And it's going to be, I got a topic. So yeah, of course, every time I have a topic. So today's no exception. So once again, this is show number 292 On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone seems to be talking about. Okay. So anyway, let me just make sure I hit a couple buttons, and then we're going to go with the intro. So bear with me. Just bear with me to make sure I do hit the right buttons. Welcome to On Air with Russell of Hotels, a hospitality talk show where we dive into hotels, travel, tourism, and of course, those non-meetings. I'm Russell L. Edmond, a hospitality entrepreneur, hotel site selection expert, and social media influencer, and I'm all about creating brand awareness for hotels, destinations, and the people who make this industry thrive. So whether you're in hospitality, planning an event, or just love to travel, you're in the right place. This is On Air with Russell of Hotels, Hospitality Unplugged. Hey, we're back. Russell of Hotels going live just for that show, On Air with Russell of Hotels. Once again, today is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025, and this is show number 292. Countdown to 300. Who would have thought, right? In fact, let me, you know what I forgot to do? Turn on the recording for the podcast as well, but that's okay. We'll edit some stuff. Don't worry about that. So you're not the podcast, right? Okay. The podcast is something else. You're not the podcast, but just so you know, while I'm doing this show, I'm doing the podcast at the same time. So, podcast is 100% audio. You don't have to necessarily see me. So if you're interested in just listening to me and not hearing or seeing me, you just want to hear me. You don't want to see me. I can't believe there's somebody out there that would say, yeah, we don't want to see you. Yeah, please spare us this. But anyway, if you're just now tuning in, I'm going old school. I have my headset on because I need to start listening to things. And I've been missing some stuff. And I'm trying to make things better, right? And in order for me to make things better on this show, I have to listen. And like I said, I've been missing something here. Something is not right. Something's amiss. But hey, we're going to continue to go. We're going to make it happen. So anyway, hey, I think it's the first time I've done this. It's like someone from the outside has wanted to sponsor someone from the outside, meaning not necessarily hospitality, but this is something that you can do while you're experiencing hospitality at a hotel, right? So yeah, I think it's the first time I actually did it, something that's outside. So, I have access to a lot of people, right? So a lot of people have access to me. So people know what I do. You know what I mean? They know I do a podcast. Not everybody, but some people, I guess maybe the important people know what I do. And this gentleman happens to be a neighbor of mine, right? So he listens to my show all the time, and he's actually an author. R. Lee Walker, right? He wrote this book called Shorty Blue. It's a novel about siblings, kind of sibling rivalry when, somebody close to them passes away or whatever, and how they react towards each other and things like that. And it's an interesting novel. So I was having this conversation with him the other day, and he said, do you have people may come on and sponsor their books and things like that? I said, no, I never had that before. And he said, well, what do you think about this? He said, why people are, enjoying a hotel, a lot of times they bring a book to read. I'm like, you're absolutely right. They do. Sometimes I do as well, right? So he said, well, why not? He said, I'll sponsor one of your episodes, and you just basically just mention Shorty Blue, the book. I'm like, okay, because people need something to, when they're relaxing by the pool, just kind of taking it in, maybe in their room or whatever, on their veranda, having a drink. You know what? Why not enjoy the book Shorty Blue? Okay, a novel by R. Lee Walker. So there you go. So that's my sponsor for the day. So appreciate you, Mr. Walker. I appreciate you approaching me and like stopping me in my tracks and say, hey, let's have a talk, right? So, no, I appreciate that. So, boom, there you go. So, every time I always showcase a hotel, right? So, this is the Sunset Marquis Hotel and Villas, right? I didn't realize it was called Hotel and Villas, right? So, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of villas around this hotel, right? It must sit on like 2 acres. I mean, it has to be at least 2 acres. something like that. So, but anyway, these are the specifics of the hotel because I'm always into the specifics. I can't even speak. I'm always into sharing the specifics of a hotel with you. So, Sunset Marquis Hotel and Villas. That's the official name, right? So, in marketing, you want to make sure you get that right. Okay, Sunset Marquis Hotel and Villas. It is located in West Hollywood. 152 rooms, guest rooms, 52 suites, nice suites, very nice suites. And it's a four diamond hotel. Hey, you can't go wrong with that, right? So, meaning four diamond, meaning, a lot of the services, they're elevated services. Of course, they have valet, they have restaurant, they have room service, things like that. You have access to a lot of things. They have two pools that I've seen there. One private, I think, and one is kind of open to the public for everyone to enjoy, right? So, a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of music, and you get that music influence as soon as you walk through the door because you see it, right? You see, artists with guitars and playing music. I mean, and the music just amplified throughout the property, which I love because they play a lot of that music that I kind of, that kind of rock or whatever. Some of that 80s kind of stuff I was listening to. I was like, what? They jamming the 80s up in here? I grew up in the 80s, so there you go. But anyway, I just remember the music, right? So, but yeah, so it's kind of cool, right? So this is the pool. This is the main pool, right? So as you're sitting out by the pool, you see the pool towels that say SMH Sunset Marquis Hotel. That's where you can be reading that book, Shorty Blue. Okay, there you go. So as you're sitting there, just hanging out, just enjoying the vibe, the life, music in the background, you read your book, Shorty Blue by R. Lee Walker. There you go. There you go. Just thought I'd throw that in there again, right? What the heck? Okay, every show I have a topic, right? Always have a topic. What is the topic for today, Russell? You may ask. Okay. 3 ways hotels can improve guest communication before arrival. Okay. Not while they're there, before arrival. Do you know people have questions before they come into a hotel? They have those FAQs. What's the FAQ, Russell? Frequently asked questions. I know a lot of people see that on the website. They say it says FAQ. Like, what the heck does that mean? What's the FAQ? That's a frequently asked question. Like, how do I get to the hotel? What's the address there? Do you have valet parking? All those kind of things could be answered before people get there because, people are already nervous to get, they got to drive, they got to get here, they got to do this, get that, and, someone's in their ear along the way. But it's always good to have that information before they get there so they know what to expect, right? So hotels, I'm not saying there's some hotels that do this really well, and there's a lot of hotels that don't. Okay, I'm just saying that, right? Just saying it because we rely on them to look at the website. Well, everyone doesn't look at the website. People are busy, but let's just say you had like a text message, that would notify, give a notification for people like, hey, welcome to the hotel, or hey, we know you're going to be checking in today. Just be aware of these, things that, that you may experience when you get here. The address is this, from the 405 freeway, you take this and get off of there, just something just kind of brief or whatever. And breakfast goes from, 6 to 10. I mean, just some information that people know. But yeah, so I have some things that I'm gonna go over here, right? So I got 3 things. Okay. So pre-arrival communication, how your hotel communicates before a guest ever checks in can set the tone for their entire stay. It's about building trust, excitement, and clarity. A lot of people need clarity before they get to a hotel. I mean, not everybody, but some people do. Number 1, personalized confirmation and welcome messages. Go beyond the standard confirmation email. Use guest names, trip reasons, if known, like why are they coming here? Why are you coming here? And offer helpful information like weather, check-in tips, like, what you should do to check in. Maybe they have a mobile check-in. Maybe you don't have to go to the front desk. Or special amenities. What about, maybe do you want amenities I mean, do you want like flowers upon arrival? Maybe you want chocolate dipped strawberries or something like that. Maybe you're entertaining someone and you need some, a bottle of wine and three glasses or whatever. I'm just throwing that out as an example, but these are the things that can be communicated with you prior to your arrival, especially like if you're entertaining or you're meeting someone and you need to know the hours of the restaurant, or you want a private kind of maybe a semi-private area to sit and discuss meeting, meeting with somebody or whatever, discuss something private. So those are things that you can ask for, and maybe they will respond basically saying that, hey, we have this already set up for you. Go to here, ask for this person, whatever the heck it is. But this is just about, communicating pre-arrival. Number 2, proactive itinerary suggestions and FAQs. There you go, that FAQ thing, frequently asked questions. Say that 5 times fast. Share local dining options, hotel features, parking information, and any current happenings at the property. This reduces stress and adds value before they even arrive. So dining options. Okay, at this particular hotel, there's one restaurant, right? So we know the dining options, but when does dinner start? When is dinner complete? When does it close? Is there just a bar open? I mean, all that information could be given to the guests prior to them getting there. Some of the hotel features. It's on 2 acres. Make sure you valet park or self park, or if you have self parking, this is the option. If you're taking an Uber or Lyft, it'll drop you off at the front, of the hotel. Whatever the heck it is, just let people know. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe there's a band that's going on. Maybe there's a duo playing, a guitar and a piano. If they want to enjoy that, it's going to be in the alcove near the pool. I mean, I'm just using that as information, but that's good information for people to know prior to them getting there. They can plan accordingly, right? If they're interested in those things at all. Let's see. And number 3, text or app-based messaging options. Yeah, some hotels have an app where they can get the messages through the app, or they just use a text message. I know most hotels that I know that even do this will, they just basically have your phone number, your cell phone number, and they text you all the information. And that's how you communicate with them, right? So say if you needed towels or something like that now you're at the hotel, maybe you need some extra towels. Like, can you make sure we have extra towels in the room? I'm going to be going to the pool or whatever the heck it is. You didn't put that. I mean, you can type that in there, send that, text that to whoever is on the other end of that, that's, guest services, that's going to make sure that stuff happens. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do as hotels to make sure that, the guest has been communicated, prior to their arrival. So they're not asking a lot of questions once they get there, because once they get there, everyone else, if you're at the front desk, who wants to wait in line to ask questions? People are checking in, and sometimes the staffing is not up to par. So why would you want to deal with all that stuff? So if there's a way that people can communicate with you prior to checking in, I think that's a good thing, right? Who doesn't think that's a good thing? I think it is. So anyway, so whether you're a hotelier, a general manager, or in guest services, improving your pre-arrival communication helps increase satisfaction, reduce confusion, and spark brand loyalty. And how many people you're going to tell if that happens? You check in, and prior to you checking in, you get all this information, right? You're going to tell everybody, hey, I stayed at the Sunset Marquis in West Hollywood, and they do this communication thing with me prior to me getting there. Like, what do you mean prior to me getting there? Yeah, prior to us arriving at the hotel, we already knew what room we're going to be in. We knew this, we knew that. There's a band playing, and, we were able to, schedule accordingly. We were going to go to dinner, but we ended up having dinner there because we wanted to enjoy this music. And I'm just using those as an example, of course. But those are things that can happen that can spark brand loyalty. Like I said, they're already telling other people too, right? So there you go. That's what it's all about, right? So make sure if your hotel has the capability, or you're looking for things that, you can improve guest relationships, guest service, and things like that, maybe look into, doing some things before they check in, other than an email. Okay, everyone's not checking their email, but they're damn sure checking their text. Okay, so there you go. There you go. So what do you think about that? I think that's pretty good. And if you're interested in that, in those three things, don't worry. Just go to my website, russellofhotels.com. Check the blog. Those things are already there, right? So feel free to go and copy those if that's what you want. The 3 ways hotels can improve guest communication before arrival. Those things are on my blog already. So just check them out because that's how I do it, okay? That's how I do it. Who's hiring? Everybody always wants to know who's hiring. Okay, so these jobs, just in case you did not know, these jobs are in the greater Los Angeles area. So if you're in New York, no, I don't have anything from New York. I'm sorry. But these are these are the jobs that are hiring now, or these are the hotels that are hiring now. So Holiday Inn, Monterey Park. This is right outside of Los Angeles, east of LA, right? Kind of East LA. Okay, so there you go. They're looking for a director of sales. The Cambria Burbank Airport, they're looking for a director of sales as well. Everybody's looking for a DOS. Spring Hill Suites in Anaheim, guess what they're looking for? A DOS, a director of sales. And then Hilton Glendale, they're looking for a senior sales manager. And the Oni Level Hotel properties, there's one downtown LA. I want to say it's on, is that 9th? I can't remember the cross street, but they're looking for an ADOS, and that's downtown LA. And I know that property well. I know the general manager there as well. I used to go there all the time. I haven't been there in a while, but I go there and I kind of office out of there sometimes and just kind of hang out and just be. It's an interesting hotel. Definitely nice, very nice, very nice. So Oni is called ONNI. They call it the level up. Level hotel property. So anyway, very nice hotel downtown, not too far from Crypto Arena, which is, of course, that's where the Lakers play. Used to be called Staples Center, I believe, back in the day. So anyway, not too far from there. In fact, you can walk there. You can walk from there to if that's what you want to do, right? But yeah, so those are the properties that are hiring. Once again, Holiday Inn, Monterey Park, DOS. Cambria Burbank, DOS. Hilton Glendale, they're looking for a senior sales manager, and the Oni Level properties, they're looking for an assistant director of sales. So there you go. And and just in case you did not know, On Air with Russell of Hotels comes on every Tuesday at 1:00 PST. Every Tuesday, okay? So just like today is Tuesday, comes on every Tuesday. And once again, this is the Sunset Marquis. This is a portion of the bed, a portion, not the whole thing, but a portion of it, right? So, consistency. Why do I put that there? Why do I have the whole screen saying consistency like 10 times and it's scrolling across? That's for the people on the podcast that may not know what the heck I'm showing. But consistency is what I am. Consistency is what I do, right? So you can't have a show and not be consistent, right? Because people, they grow to expect it, and you have to show people that, you have to show up for people, right? You have to show up. Even when you don't want to, you got to show up, right? Even when you're like, you know what, no one's listening. Yeah, well, maybe they're not, but you still got to show up, right? So that's one thing that I can say I do. And why am I saying that right now? Because, when I showcase hotels, oh, we got a frozen camera. Hold on one second. See, that's what happens when you have a frozen camera. You just go in. Let's see if we can change. Let's change it. Let's change the you know what? Let's just change the photo. That's all we got to do. Let's change the photo. Let me just move this. Let's see if I can do this without doing that. Let's see. Boom. I guess. Is that what I'm doing? Is that what we're doing? Okay. Yep. Okay. So I had a problem with the camera there. I don't know if you saw that, But let's see if it's working now. Let's see if it's working. Okay, there you go. So sometimes, see, that's why you got to be ready, right? And I've had this issue before where sometimes that camera freezes up and I just go to the other camera, right? So if you got two cameras, you can do that, right? If you don't have two cameras, well then, yeah, I guess you're SOL. But today is working in my favor. So boom, there you go. So I don't even remember what I was saying, but I can't even remember what I was saying. But anyway, any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Email me, russell@russellofhotels.com. My website, russellofhotels.com. So anything that I talk about, any of the topics that I have on this show, they're there as well. They're there. They're on my website, so go russellofhotels.com. The blog is there. Any information about me, how I started, what I do. Always make sure you let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them, right? That's always important. We always kind of forget that. People have elevator pitches, if you will. I don't do an elevator pitch. I do who I am, what I do, and how I can assist people, okay? So I was getting back to the consistency thing. That's what I was talking about a little while ago. So make sure you are consistent with whatever you do. If you're saying that, okay, I do a show Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or 5 days a week, then make sure you do a show 5 days a week, right? So if I do on air with Russell of Hotels every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, well, make sure you show up for that. You got to be consistent. And if I do a daily check-in with Russell of Hotels Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, make sure you show up and do it, right? So when I say consistency, I don't think there's no one going to outwork me on social media or on this podcast or doing a podcast. I'm going to constantly do it. I'm going to constantly showcase hotels. I'm going to invite people to come on and have conversations. So you can set your watch to it, right? Because that's going to happen, right? So, and we have a list of people that are interested in coming on the show. It's just a matter of scheduling. And I appreciate the people that have reached out. I appreciate the people that I've reached out to and say, yeah, I'm definitely interested in coming on and talking about, their career, how they got started, what they're doing now, the kind of how they evolved from where they started to where they are now. That's what it's all about, right? And I always ask that question, that burning question that everybody wants to know. Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you? I mean, those are the things that I just love asking that question. In fact, if you guys haven't seen some of the check-ins that I did CLIC conference, which is Craig Sullivan's conference, CLIC, CLIC, California Lodging and Investment Conference. If you didn't see some of the videos that I did regarding that, it was kind of a daily check-in, impromptu daily check-in that I did with the help of Bruce Jordan, he's the MJ of hotels, right? So he produced the segments, and they're on LinkedIn, they're on YouTube, and I've actually posted them on IG as well as Facebook as well. Me having conversations with people within the industry, from people that are designing hotels, people that are recruiting for, hotels, people that are, in charge of sales for their management group. I mean, it was just people in construction that are constructing and renovating hotels. I mean, those are the people that I've been talking to, right? And it's just interesting to see their approach on what they're doing, how they got started, all those kind of things, right? So it's all about, kind of building those relationships, and knowing what people do. And so when you see them again, I'm like, hey, you remember you did the check-in with me or the conversation we had. They're not interviews. I call them conversations, okay? So it's always interesting to do those things, right? And I appreciate people that are able to do it and, they don't get hung up on, oh, my God, I can't do that, and, oh, that's more for someone else. No. I asked them, and they just jumped in and did it, right? And that's what it's all about, because it gives them an opportunity gives me an opportunity to know who they are, right? But it gives them an opportunity to talk about themselves, talk about what they do, and how they help people within the hospitality space, and how they got into the hospitality space. Did they start off in restaurants? Did they start off in hotels? Where did they start? And where are they now? I mean, those are things that are important to a lot of people. They're there to tell a story, and that's what it's all about. And they're open to tell that story. And that's the part that I really appreciate, that people open up and they tell their story. So it was good. So if you have not checked out any of those. I think I posted probably at least 3 of those in the last several days. So go to my LinkedIn page or my YouTube page and check those out. Those are there right now for you to see, right? And just listen and learn about people. And you never know. You may need some of their services. You just don't know, right? And just yesterday, I got introduced to someone via an email, introduced to someone that's a photographer in the hospitality space. So, I mean, it's always good. And maybe I can have him come on and talk about his story. And that's what it's all about. It's all about promoting, having a platform for people to come on and promote what they do. So you cannot do that if you're not consistent. See, I said all that to tie into the consistency. So if you just tuned in, I just showed this screen and I was just talking about being consistent. So I went from that to saying that, people can come on, they can show their product, they can talk about their product. If you're, trying to reach out to hotels, anything within the hospitality space, and you have a product or a service that would benefit hotels, then why not come on and talk about that? Why not, allow me to showcase your brand and what you do for hotels or what you can do for hotels. But you cannot do that if you're not consistent, right? So, like I said, no one's going to outwork me or outwork Russell of Hotels when it comes to that, when it comes to allowing people to come on and so they can talk about what they do. And if they want to brag about themselves or brag about their company, this is the perfect place to do it. It's a perfect platform to do it. And I welcome that. And it's all about promoting your brand, letting people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help. So there you go. That is it. And once again, I told you I wasn't going to take that long today. And we're like at 32 minutes, right? I think this is I'm not going to say this is the shortest one ever, because then everybody will be waiting for me to do a short show, right? Well, when I don't have a guest on, and things kind of flowed today, and the topic was not as, I guess it didn't have the teeth like I thought it would. But that's okay. That's okay, because once again, I was trying to gauge what's going on with my audio and my video today. That's why I have the headset on. So this is a good thing, right? So it's okay that I'm going to end a little early today, okay? So once again, any questions at all, feel free to email me, russell@russellofhotels.com. You can go to my website if you want to, russellofhotels.com. My phone number is there if you wish to call me instead of emailing me or whatever, send me an instant message. However you want to communicate with me, I'm here for all of that, right? So once again, this was the Sunset Marquis in West Hollywood, and this is their koi pond, right? So like I said, there's so much going on at this hotel. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites in West Hollywood. Now, this is the second time I've been to this hotel, and I kind of forgot that I had been here before, right? Until I got on property, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've been here before. You see these huge photos of, I think the guy that's over the pool now is Jeff Beck, who's a guitar player. There's this huge photo that's damn near the length of the pool, the size of the length of the pool, right? It's right there. I mean, you cannot miss it. Him playing a guitar. So it has a heavy music influence, and they have so much stuff there. Just a lot going on there. So if you have never been there before, you never experienced it, I welcome you. I'm sure they welcome you too, to go ahead and experience it and check it out for yourself. So once again, that's the Sunset Marquis in West Hollywood. Wee-ho! So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show everyone's talking about. This was show number, what show was this? This was show number 292. Countdown to 300. What am I going to do for show number 300? Nothing. I'm going to show up and be consistent. That's what I'm going to do. So on that note, you guys have a great day. Thank you again for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, On Air with Russell of Hotels. And that is it. And as always, peace.